all waywardness, he has submitted his nature to quietness. He is a true seeker, not because he begs, but because he follows the lawful way, holding back nothing, holding to nothing, beyond good and beyond evil, beyond the body and beyond the mind. Silence cannot make a master out of a fool, but he who weighs only purity in his scales, who sees the nature of the two worlds, he is a master. He harms no living thing. And yet, it is not good conduct that helps you upon the way, nor ritual, nor book learning, nor withdrawal into the self, nor deep meditation. None of these confers mastery or joy. O seeker, rely on nothing until you want nothing. The way. The way is eightfold. There are four truths. All virtue lies in detachment. The master has an open eye. This is the only way to the opening of the eye. Follow it. Outwit desire. Follow it to the end of sorrow. When I pulled out sorrow's shaft, I showed you the way. It is you who must make the effort. The masters only point the way. But if you meditate and follow the law, you will free yourself from desire. Everything arises and passes away. When you see this, you are above sorrow, this shining way. Existence is sorrow. Understand and go beyond sorrow. This is the way of brightness. Existence is illusion. Understand. Go beyond. This is the way of clarity. You are strong. You are young. It is time to arise. So arise, lest through irresolution and idleness you lose the way. Master your words. Master your thoughts. Never allow your body to do harm. Follow these three roads with purity, and you will find yourself upon the one way, the way of wisdom. Sit in the world, sit in the dark, sit in meditation, sit in light. Choose your seat, let wisdom grow. Cut down the forest, not the tree, for out of the forest comes danger. Cut down the forest, fell desire, and set yourself free. While a man desires a woman, his mind is bound as closely as a calf to its mother. As you would pluck an autumn lily, pluck the arrow of desire. For he who is awake has shown you the way of peace. Give yourself to the journey. Here shall I make my dwelling in the summer and the winter and in the rainy season. So the fool makes his plans, sparing not a thought for his death. Death overtakes the man who, giddy and distracted by the world, cares only for his flocks and his children. Death fetches him away as a flood carries off a sleeping village. His family cannot save him, not his father, nor his sons. Know this. Seek wisdom and purity. Quickly clear the way. Out of the forest. There is pleasure, and there is bliss. Forgo the first to possess the second. If you are happy at the expense of another man's happiness, you are forever bound. You do not what you should. You do what you should not. You are reckless, and desire grows. But the master is wakeful. He watches his body. In all his actions, he discriminates, and he becomes pure.
Heard some myths about Medicare out on the course lately? Myth. You can sign up at any time. Learn more about your annual enrollment period options today.
poorer you are, the more likely your friends are to be people from your neighborhood. While the wealthier you are, the more likely your friends are to be people from college. All of which means that, yes, the key to social mobility is for disadvantaged people to get out of their bubbles. But it also means that wealthy people have to get out of their bubbles too. Research finds that social settings that draw people from all different backgrounds together, places like religious institutions, for example, are the places most likely to create these friendships across class lines. Which sounds pretty appealing, doesn't it? By just getting to know people who aren't like us, we may actually be creating a better country. So maybe we should all be looking for more opportunities to connect. It doesn't matter whether it's a bowling league or a book club.
He is without blame, though once he may have murdered his mother and his father, 2 kings, a kingdom, and all its subjects. Though the kings were holy and their subjects among the virtuous, yet is he blameless. The followers of the awakened awake, and day and night they watch and meditate upon their master. Forever wakeful, they mind the law. They know their brothers on the way. They understand the mystery of the body. They find joy in all beings. They delight in meditation. It is hard to live in the world and hard to live out of it. It is hard to be one among many. And for the wanderer, how long is the road wandering through many lives? Let him rest. Let him not suffer. Let him not fall into suffering. If he is a good man, a man of faith, honored and prosperous, wherever he goes, he is welcome. Like the Himalayas, good men shine from afar, but bad men move unseen like arrows in the night. Sit, rest, work, alone with yourself, never weary. On the edge of the forest, live joyfully, without desire. The dark. One man denies the truth, another denies his own actions. Both go into the dark, and in the next world suffer, for they offend truth. Wear the yellow robe, but if you are reckless, you will fall into darkness. If you are reckless, better to swallow molten iron than eat at the table of good folk. If you court another man's wife, you court trouble. Your sleep is broken, you lose your honor, you fall into darkness. You go against the law, you go into the dark. Your pleasures end in fear, and the king's punishment is harsh. But as a blade of grass held awkwardly may cut your hand, so renunciation may lead you into the dark. For if in your renunciation you are reckless and break your word, if your purpose wavers, you will not find light. Do what you have to do, resolutely, with all your heart. A traveler who hesitates only raises dust on the road. It is better to do nothing than to do what is wrong. For whatever you do to yourself. Like a border town well guarded, guard yourself within and without. Let not a single moment pass, lest you fall into darkness. Feel shame only where shame is due. Fear only what is fearful. See evil only in what is evil, lest you mistake the true way and fall into darkness. See what is. See what is not. Follow the true way. Rise.
At Domino's, we believe pizza deserves a proper +1. Burgers have fries. Pizza now has bread bites. Try our new savory garlic, new sweet cinnamon, or classic Parmesan. Pizza need new bread bites. Order today only at Domino's. IXL is helping 15 million students succeed in math and language arts. On IXL, your child can stay on track or get ahead by practicing with fun, interactive questions. Whether they learn best with step-by-step explanations, video tutorials, or games, IXL is here to guide them. Backed by over 75 scientific research studies, you can trust that you're choosing the best educational technology. Hand your child the keys to success. Join IXL today.
The elephant. I shall endure hard words as the elephant endures the shafts of battle. Or many people speak wildly. The tamed elephant goes to battle. The king rides him. The tamed man is the master. He can endure hard words in peace. Better than a mule or the fine horses of Sind or the mighty elephants of war is the man who has mastered himself. Not on their backs can he reach the untrodden country, but only on his own. The mighty elephant Danapalaka is wild when he is in rut, and when bound he will not eat, remembering the elephant grove. The fool is idle, he eats and he rolls in his sleep like a hog in a sty, and he has to live life over again.
Long is the night to the sleepless, long is the road to the weary traveler, long is the cycle of rebirths to the unwise, who do not know the truth. Should a traveler fail to find a companion equal or better, rather than suffer the company of a fool, he should resolutely walk alone. I have children, I have wealth. These are empty claims of an unwise man. If he cannot call himself his own, how can he then claim children and wealth as his own? To the extent that a fool knows his foolishness, he may be deemed wise. A fool who considers himself wise is indeed a fool. A fool may associate with a wise man throughout his life and remain touched by his wisdom, even as a spoon cannot taste the flavor of soup. On the other hand, an aware man in a moment's meeting can learn from a wise man, even as the tongue tastes the flavor of soup. The unwise man, lacking understanding, behaves as if he were his worst enemy, committing evil deeds that produce bitter fruit. It is unwise to do things that bring regret and require repentance, to cause suffering for oneself and a weeping and a tearful face. It is wise to do things which do not require repentance, but bring joy and fulfillment, happiness and delight, until he feels the effect. The fool rejoices in his evil deed. When the action reaches fruition, the fool harvests nothing but grief. Though the fool may practice asceticism, eating a speck of food on the tip of a blade of grass, he is not worth 1/16 of the Arahant, the knower of the Dhamma. An evil deed does not produce its results at once. It smolders slowly like a fire covered by ashes and finally consumes its doer, the fool. The things a fool gains amount to nothing. Wholesome acts cannot bring him wholesome results. What a fool hungers for is false fame, authority, power over others, and generous offerings. He seeks recognition as a doer, a wielder of power, a knower of right and wrong. His craving and pride are insatiable. There is a path that leads to worldly gain, another road to nirvana. Let the seeker, the disciple of Buddha, embracing seclusion, take the path to wisdom and enlightenment. The wise. If someone sees an intelligent person who is skillfully able to point out shortcomings and give suitable reproof, let him cherish such a revealer of hidden treasures. Only good can come from such an association. Let the wise one guide, correct, and deter others from what is base and vile. He will be treasured by the good and spurned by the evil. Do not choose bad friends. Do not choose persons of low habits. Select good friends, be discriminating. Choose the best. Whoever drinks deeply of Dhamma lives happily, with a peaceful mind. The wise man rejoices in the Dhamma, taught by the holy ones. Irrigators contain the flowing waters. Arrowsmiths fashion arrows. Carpenters shape wood to their design. Wise men mold their characters. As a solid rock stands firm in the wind, even so is a wise man unmoved by praise or blame. As a deep lake remains still and clear, so do wise men, listening to the teachings, attain a serene mind. The good certainly cling to nothing. They do not talk aimlessly, concerned with personal gains. The wise, the saintly, whether experiencing comfort or discomfort, show neither elation nor depression. Not for one's own or another's gain should one commit an evil deed, regardless of the desire for children, wealth, or kingdom, or any other kind of success. One should remain virtuous, wise, and righteous. The few cross over to the far shore. The many merely run back and forth fruitlessly along the side of the stream. But only those who follow the carefully taught law can cross to the other shore, beyond the grasp of death so hard to overcome. Let the wise man shun the cauldron of confusion and proceed on the path of light. Let him leave the comfort of home, forsaking sensual pleasures, freeing himself from all obstacles, delighting in seclusion, not an ordinary man's choice, and devote himself to cleansing the blemishes of the mind. Those who have carefully cultivated their minds in tune with the elements of enlightenment, who without grasping delight and detachment, cleansed of all corruption and therefore shining brightly, send forth brilliant light. Om, the Arahant. There is no burning for him who has completed the journey, who is free of sorrows and all else, and who has broken off all chains. The mindful put forth great effort. They do not remain content in the household life, but leave their homes behind just as swans leave a muddy lake. Arahants do not hoard. Take a right view of eating, focused on deliverance and avoid. They leave no trace, like the path of birds in the sky. He who is free from obsessions, eating simply, clear-headed, and focused on liberation, like a migrating bird leaves no trace of a track in the sky. Even the gods delight in the presence of one who has freed himself from pride and mental obsessions, who has his senses under control, like horses trained by an expert trainer. Done with the round of rebirths, he is as accepting as the earth, as firm as a doorpost, placid as a pond free of mud, and dutiful. Whoever has reached the state of freedom through perfect wisdom, peaceful and unshakable, is nonviolent in his mind, his speech, his action. Whoever is in touch with the infinite, free of attachment, desireless, is the highest among men. Delightful is the place where the saints dwell, be it village or forest, cavern or open field. Delightful are forests where more worldly men find no joy, being free of the pull of desire. Saints who seek no worldly pleasures find delight in such places. Thousands. A single wise word bringing peace to the listener is worth more than 1,000 speeches full of empty words. Single verse full of meaning, bringing peace to the listener, is worth more than 1,000 verses full of empty words. One may recite 100 verses full of vain descriptions, but a single verse bringing peace to the listener is worth far more. One may conquer 1,000,000 men in a single battle. However, the greatest and best warrior conquers himself. Conquest of oneself is the greatest victory of all. Neither a god nor a heavenly musician nor a mischievous angel of the highest of the 6 heavenly abodes, the Paranimita heaven where sensual pleasures prevail, can deprive the self-vanquished, restrained person of victory. The honor paid to the one who has achieved self-mastery for one single instant is worth more than monthly offerings of 1,000 pieces of gold. Honoring the one who has achieved self-mastery for one single instant is worth more than living in the forest, tending the sacred fire for 100 years. Making offerings for glory and recognition is not 1/4 as worthy as honoring the upright. Whoever shows reverence and respect for the aged is rewarded fourfold with long life, beauty, happiness, and strength. Even a single day of a life lived virtuously and meditatively is worth more than 100 years lived wantonly and without discipline. A single day's life of a wise and contemplative man is worth more than 100 years lived wantonly and without discipline. A single day's life of one who puts out great effort is better than a life of 100 years lived in idleness and sluggishness. A single day's life lived by a man who grasps the impermanence of all conditioned things is worth more than 100 years lived in blindness and ignorance. A single day's life of one who sees the deathless state is worth more than 100 years lived without perceiving it. A single day's life of one who sees the truth is worth more than 100 years of not seeing the truth. This is called evil. Do not lose a moment of doing good. Protect your mind from evil. Whoever neglects doing good is inviting addiction to evil. If a man has mistakenly committed an evil deed, let him not repeat it. Let him not be addicted to evil, for it is the amassing of evil that brings misery. On the other hand, if a man does good, let him do it repeatedly. Let him put his heart into it, for the accumulation of good brings blessings. Even an evildoer feels happy before his negative actions reach fruition. However, when the evil ripens, he will have a bountiful harvest of evil results. A good man sees what is unwholesome before his good deeds reach fruition. However, when the good ripens, he will have a bountiful harvest of good results. Don't underestimate evil, saying, "It can't happen to me." As a pot slowly fills up with water drop by drop, so does the fool little by little become full of evil. Don't underestimate good, saying, "It can't happen to me." Water falling drop by drop will fill even a large pot. Likewise, the wise man, accumulating good little by little, becomes goodness itself. One should shun all evil as a merchant with treasure and a small caravan avoids a dangerous road, or as a man loving life shuns poison. If a man has a hand free of wounds, he can take poison in his hand. The poison cannot penetrate the hand that is free of wounds. Likewise, a man is not guilty when he acts with no evil intention. If someone harms an innocent person, one pure and free of guilt, evil results will fall upon the doer, like fine dust thrown against the wind. Some are reborn in a mother's womb. The evil doers are bound to miserable states. The doers of good are reborn to happy states. Those free of any stain go on to perfect peace. There is no place in the world, neither the sky, the sea, nor in mountain crevices, where an evil doer can hide, safe from the consequences of his action. There is no place in the world, neither in the sky, the sea, nor in mountain crevices, where one can escape the inevitability of death.
My own mind used to wander wherever pleasure or desire or lust led it, but now I have it tamed. I guide it as the keeper guides the wild elephant. Awake, be the witness of your thoughts. The elephant holds himself from the mud. In the same way, drag yourself out of your sloth. If the traveler can find a virtuous and wise companion, let him go with him joyfully and overcome the dangers of the way. But if you cannot find friend or master to go with you, travel on alone, like a king who has given away his kingdom, like an elephant in the forest. Travel on alone, rather than with a fool for company. Do not.
Okay, this is chapter 10, the rod. Everybody fears being struck by a rod. Everybody fears death. Therefore, knowing this feeling for others as for yourself, do not kill others or cause others to kill. Everybody fears being struck by a rod, life being dear to all. Therefore, knowing this feeling for others as for yourself, do not kill others or cause others to kill. If one pursuing happiness strikes living beings who also strive to live happily with a rod or other instrument, he will reap an unwholesome harvest. If one pursues his own happiness while causing no harm to other living beings who also strive to live happily, he will reap a wholesome harvest. Avoid harsh speech. Angry words backfire upon the speaker. By making yourself as still as a cracked cymbal, not retaliating, you achieve nirvana. As a cowherd leads the cattle to pasture, so do old age and death drive the life of all beings. The fool committing evil deeds realizes not their nature. The fool, due to his evil deeds, suffers as if scorched by fire. He who inflicts pain on the innocent comes to one of 10 calamities. Pain, loss, injury, illness, insanity, danger from rulers, frightening accusations, loss of loved ones, loss of wealth. One of these will he experience. fire will destroy his house after the destruction of his body. The same foolish man will go to an unhappy state, though he does penance through nakedness, with tangled hair covering body with mud, fasting, rubbing himself with ash, crouching in a posture of humility. None of these rites can purify a man who has not freed himself of doubt. Regardless of attire or adornment, the guiltless one, calm, self-restrained, chaste and resolute, refraining totally from hurting living beings, is the Brahmin, the recluse, the monk. It is the rare being who is restrained by self-direction, who does not invite reproof, as a good horse does not invite the whip. Be like a good horse, touched gently by the whip. The horse moves forward with full power and energy. Have an abundance of confidence, good conduct, effort, concentration, be aware and attentive. Put aside this great mass of suffering. Those who would irrigate the land bring the water wherever they choose. Arrowsmiths fashion arrows, carpenters shape wood, the virtuous mold themselves.
Carry with you your mistakes. Do not carry your cares. Travel on alone, like an elephant in the forest. To have friends in need is sweet, and to share happiness, and to have done something good before leaving this life is sweet, and to let go of sorrow. To be a mother is sweet, and a father. It is sweet to live arduously, and to master yourself. Oh, how sweet it is to enjoy life living in honesty and strength. And wisdom is sweet, and freedom.
Being diagnosed with leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, or any other type of blood cancer makes people want more time to do the things they love. That means more time to be movie buffs, athletes, jazz collectors,
Desire. If you sleep, desire grows in you like a vine in the forest. Like a monkey in the forest, you jump from tree to tree, never finding the fruit. From life to life, never finding peace. If you are filled with desire, your sorrows swell like the grass after the rain. But if you subdue desire, your sorrows fall from you like drops of water from a lotus flower. This is good counsel, and it is for everyone. As the grass is cleared for the fresh root, cut down desire, lest death after death crush you, as a river crushes the helpless reeds. For if the roots hold firm, a felled tree grows up again. If desires are not uprooted, sorrows grow again in you. 36 streams are rushing toward you, desire and pleasure and lust. Play in your imagination with them and they will sweep you away. Powerful streams, they flow everywhere. Strong vine, if you see it spring up, take care. Pull it out by the roots. Pleasures flow everywhere. You float upon them and are carried from life to life. Like a hunted hare you run, the pursuer of desire pursued, harried from life to life. O seeker, give up desire. Shake off your chains. You have come out of the hollow into the clearing. The clearing is empty. Why do you rush back into the hollow? Desire is a hollow, and people say, look, he was free, but now he gives up his freedom. It is not iron that imprisons you, nor rope, nor wood, but the pleasure you take in gold and jewels and sons and wives. Soft fetters, yet they hold you down. Can you snap them? There are those who can, who surrender the world, forsake desire, and follow the way. O slave of desire, float upon the stream. Little spider, stick to your web, or else abandon your sorrows for the way. Abandon yesterday, and tomorrow, and today. Cross over to the farther shore, beyond life and death. Do your thoughts trouble you? Does passion disturb you? Beware of thirstiness, lest your wishes become desires, and desire binds you. Quieten your mind. Reflect. Watch. Nothing binds you. You are free. You are strong. You have come to the end, free from passion and desire. You have stripped the thorns from the stem. This is your last body. You are wise. You are free from desire, and you understand words and the stitching together of words, and you want nothing. Victory is mine, knowledge is mine, and all purity, all surrender. I want nothing. I am free. I found my way. Whom shall I call teacher? The gift of truth is beyond giving, the taste beyond sweetness, the joy beyond joy. The end of desire is the end of sorrow. The fool is his own enemy. Seeking wealth, he destroys himself. Seek rather the other shore. Weeds choke the field. Passion poisons the nature of man, and hatred, illusion, and desire. Honor the man who is without passion, hatred, illusion, and desire. What you give to him will be given back to you, and more. The Seeker. Master your senses. What you taste and smell, what you see, what you hear. In all things, be a master of what you do and say and think. Be free. You are a seeker. Delight in the mastery of your hands and your feet, of your words and your thoughts. Delight in meditation and in solitude. Compose yourself. Be happy. You are a seeker. Hold your tongue. Do not exalt yourself, but lighten the way, for your words are sweet. Follow the truth of the way. Reflect upon it. Make it your own. Live it. It will always sustain you. Do not turn away what is given you, nor reach out for what is given to others, lest you disturb your quietness. Give thanks for what has been given you, however little. Be pure. Never falter. You have no name and no form. Why miss what you do not have? A seeker is not sorry. Love and joyfully follow the way, the quiet way to the happy country. Seeker, empty the boat, lighten the load, passion and desire and hatred, and sail swiftly. There are 5 at the door to turn away, and 5 more, and there are 5 to welcome in. And when 5 have been left stranded on the shore, the seeker is called O Gati Nati, he who has crossed over. Seeker, do not be reckless. Meditate constantly, or you will swallow fire and cry out, no more. If you are not wise, How can you steady the mind? If you cannot quieten yourself, what will you ever learn? How will you become free? With a quiet mind, come into that empty house, your heart, and feel the joy of the way beyond the world. Look within, the rising and the falling. What happiness! How sweet to be free! It is the beginning of life, of mastery and patience, of good friends along the way, of a pure and active life. So, live in love. Do your work. Make an end of your sorrows. Or see how the jasmine releases and lets fall its withered flowers. Let fall willfulness and hatred. Are you quiet? Quieten your body. Quieten your mind. You want nothing. Your words are still. You are still. By your own efforts, waken yourself. Watch yourself. And live joyfully. You are the master. You are the refuge. As a merchant breaks in a fine horse, master yourself. How gladly you follow the words of the awakened, how quietly, how surely you approach the happy country, the heart of stillness. However young, the seeker who sets out upon the way shines bright over the world. Like the moon, come out from behind the clouds, shine. The true master. Wanting nothing with all your heart, stop the stream. When the world dissolves, everything becomes clear. Go beyond this way or that way to the farther shore, where the world dissolves and everything becomes clear. Beyond this shore and the farther shore, beyond the beyond, where there is no beginning, no end, without fear, go, meditate, live purely, be quiet, do your work with mastery. By day the sun shines and the warrior in his armor shines. By night the moon shines and the master shines in meditation. But day and night the man who is awake shines in the radiance of the spirit. The master gives up mischief. He is serene. He leaves everything behind him. He does not take offense and he does not give it. He never returns evil for evil. Alas for the man who raises his hand against another, and even more for him who returns the blow. Resist the pleasures of life and the desire to hurt, till sorrows vanish. Never offend by what you think, or say, or do. Honor the man who is awake and shows you the way. Honor the fire of his sacrifice. Matted hair or family or caste do not make a master, but the truth and goodness with which he is blessed. Your hair is tangled and you sit on a deerskin. What folly, when inside you are ragged with lust. The master's clothes are in tatters. His veins stand out. He is wasting away. Alone in the forest, he sits and meditates. A man is not born to mastery. A master is never proud. He does not talk down to others. Owning nothing, he misses nothing. He is not afraid. He does not tremble. Nothing binds him. He is infinitely free. So cut through the strap and the thong and the rope. Loosen the fastenings. Unbolt the doors of sleep and awake. The master endures insults and ill treatment without reacting, for his spirit is an army. He is never angry. He keeps his promises. He never strays. He is determined. This body is my leaf of a lotus flower or a mustard seed on the point of a needle, he does not cling, for he has reached the end of sorrow and has laid down his burden. He looks deeply into things and sees their nature. He discriminates and reaches the end of the way. He does not linger with those who have a home, nor with those who stray. Wanting nothing, he travels on alone. He hurts nothing, he never kills. He moves with love among the unloving, with peace and detachment among the hungry and querulous. Like a mustard seed from the point of a needle, hatred has fallen from him, and lust, hypocrisy, and pride. He offends no one, yet he speaks the truth. His words are clear, but never harsh. Whatever is not his, he refuses, good or bad, great or small. He wants nothing from this world, and nothing from the next. He is free. Desiring nothing, doubting nothing, beyond judgment and sorrow and the pleasure of the senses, he is moved beyond time. He is pure and free. How clear he is. He is the moon. He is serene. He shines. For he has traveled life after life the muddy and treacherous road of illusion. He does not tremble or grasp or hesitate. He has found peace. Calmly, he lets go of life, of home, and pleasure, and desire. Nothing of men can hold him. Nothing of the gods can hold him. Nothing in all creation can hold him. Desire has left him, never to return. Sorrow has left him, never to return. He is calm. In him the seed of renewing life has been consumed. He has conquered all the inner worlds. With dispassionate eye he sees everywhere the falling and the uprising. And with great gladness he knows that he has finished. He has woken from his sleep. And the way he has taken is hidden from men, even from spirits and gods, by virtue of his purity. In him there is no yesterday, no tomorrow, no today. Possessing nothing, wanting nothing, he is full of power. Fearless, wise, exalted, he has vanquished all things. He sees by virtue of his purity. He has come to the end of the way, over the river of his many lives, his many deaths, beyond the sorrow of hell, beyond the great joy of heaven, by virtue of his purity. He has come to the end of the way. All that he had to do, he has done. And now, he is one. An afterword, written and read by Jacob Needleman. Buddhism was born in India. In its beginnings, it conceived of itself not as a new religion, but as a reconstitution of what is essential in the vastness of the Hindu tradition. Taken as a whole, the Hindu religion can be likened to an Olympian armed campaign with great generals dispersed abroad, their huge armies and infinitely varied weaponry converging upon the enemy, the ego, under some divinely conceived master strategy.
Okay, this is called old age. Can there be joy and laughter when always the world is ablaze, shrouded in darkness? Should you not seek light? Look at the body adorned, a mass of wounds draped upon a heap of bones, a sickly thing, the subject of sensual thoughts. Neither permanent nor enduring, the body wears out, a nest of disease, fragile, disintegrating, ending in death. What delight is there in seeing the bleached bones like gourds thrown away, dried and scattered in the autumn sun? A citadel is this structure of bones, blood and flesh, within which dwell decay, death, conceit, and malice. The royal chariots surely come to decay, just as the body too comes to decay. But the shining truth and loving kindness lives on. So speak the virtuous to the virtuous. The unwise person grows large in body. Though he becomes large physically, his mind remains small. How many lives, how many rounds of rebirth have I experienced without finding the builder of this house? Now I see you, O builder. All of your rafters are broken. Your ridgepole is shattered. Never again need you build a house for me. My mind has gone beyond the transitory, the conditioned, and has achieved the extinction of craving. Those who do not find their way to a higher life, or who fail to earn wealth during their youth, look back with regret in their old age. Like large old wading birds beside a dried pond, having attained neither the higher life of the seeker, nor having acquired wealth and power in their youth, they lie like spent arrows that have missed their mark, bewailing the misspent past. Self. If a man holds himself in high esteem, let him be vigilant. A careful observer, day and night, during any of the 3 watches of life. First, one must establish one's own high moral principles, then preach to others. Very difficult it is to restrain oneself. Let one mold himself in accordance with the precepts he teaches. There can be no gap in credibility and no disgrace. Only the self shelters the self. What shelter could there be outside the self? With oneself thoroughly tamed, one gains a shelter rare. As a diamond bores a softer gem, so does the evil committed by a fool crush the doer. As a strangling vine chokes a tree, so does a person's unwholesome action destroy him, to the delight of his enemy. Unwholesome action, hurting self, comes easily. Wholesome action, healing self, takes effort. A foolish man clings to wrong views, mocks the teachings of the righteous. Such a person reaps what he sows, inviting ruin and destruction, like the fruit-bearing bamboo tree. By oneself is evil done. By oneself is one made impure. By oneself is evil undone. By oneself is one made pure. Each one is responsible for purity and impurity. No one can cleanse another. One should not neglect one's own moral good for the sake of another's. Learn first before teaching another's. Let each one embrace his own truth and devote himself to its fulfillment. Om. called the world. Do not follow low practices. Do not live carelessly. Do not hold wrong views. Do not prolong the suffering of the world. Lift yourself up. Be attentive. Act virtuously. One who does good deeds lives happily, both in this life and the life to come. Act righteously. Refuse to do otherwise. One who follows this path lives happily, both in this life and the life to come. Perceive the world as a bubble. Perceive the world as a mirage. If you see the world in this way, you render the Lord of Death powerless. Look at the body as a royal chariot, to which the ignorant cling while the wise let go. Whoever moves from carelessness to vigilance lights up the world like the moon that emerges from a cloud. Whoever overcomes his unwholesome deeds with wholesome actions illuminates the world like the moon emerging from a cloud. There is blindness all around. Only very few can see. Many are like birds trapped in a net. Only few escape and achieve liberation. Swans fly in the sky. Those possessed of psychic powers glide through the air. The wise, conquering self, proceed to nirvana. A man who violates even one spiritual law, who is dishonest and telling lies, unconcerned with the life hereafter, there is no evil such a one dares not do. Those closed off from generosity do not enter the realm of gods. Fools do not praise generosity. The wise rejoice in generosity, and by that will be happy after death. Better than the sole rulership over the world, better than going to heaven, better than lordship over all the worlds, is the fruition of the stream winner's path. Om.
Compared to this, Buddhism appears upon the Indian scene as a direct, hand-to-hand attack with no holds barred, striking instantly and mercilessly at the enemy's weakest point. By and large, Buddhism has retained this quality of one-pointed practicality, even amid the later flowering of a metaphysics and mythology which, in all of its aspects, rivals the entirety of Hinduism. Put succinctly, the Buddha, who is understood to have lived and taught in the 6th century BC, taught that the principal cause of all human suffering and desolation is the deeply ingrained belief that there is such a thing as a self or ego that persists through time and change. Everything else in Buddhism, its art, philosophy, rituals, and techniques, originated as tools for the destruction of man's illusion that he is a self. This doctrine of no self, or non-Atman, is, as it is said, the diamond which cuts through all errors and confusions of humanity. According to this teaching, everything in human nature is in flux, and a man is nothing but a serial bundle of sensations, thoughts, and feelings, one proceeding from another with nothing to hold them together either in life or death. And not only man, but all things in the universe are without self, without a fixed nature that abides from moment to moment. In the endless and rigorously determined chain of cause and effect that constitutes the universe, we human beings fail by fixing our interest or desire upon one or another phenomenal aggregate, either within ourself or external to ourself. Therein is the root of all our sorrow. What can liberate us is the deep and thorough understanding of all things, including the personality, as causally determined processes of becoming. Consciousness, meaning the totality of thought, feeling, perception, sensation, pleasure, and pain is not a being, but a passion, not an activity, but only a sequence of reactions in which we, who have no power to be either as or when we will, are fatally involved. Individuality is motivated by and perpetuated by wanting, and the cause of all wanting is ignorance. For we ignore that the objects of our desire can never be possessed in any real sense of the word, ignore that even when we have got what we want, we still want to keep it and are still in the state of desire. The ignorance meant is of things as they really are, and the consequent attribution of substantiality to what is merely phenomenal. The seeing of self in what is not self. At first glance, this doctrine of no self seems in direct opposition to the Hindu view. But if there is any general view,
as opposed to dereliction of duty or just like negligence of the police, not the privileging of like Asian rape gangs and things like
with which the Buddhist doctrine conflicts, it is surely our own Western worldview, as embodied not only in
time
the
that in certain area they talk like that. Does that make sense? Niggas call U-boat, ain't no U-boat. Oh no, I always act like a U-boat. I never had no niggas. U-boat, U-boat, nigga. I ain't never had no song, nigga. Hey.
Are included, which, by the way, from Alaska, you can see Russia from your backyard, nearly a year after the 2024 election. While personal stress levels hover around 5 on a scale of 1 to 10 on average, collective anxiety about the nation's direction has reached a troubling height. 75%, that's 3 of 4. That means everyone on this stage, or many people on this stage, the majority of us, if we're normal, if we're typical of the study, 75% of adults say they're more stressed about the country's future than they used to be. Political tensions show no signs of letting up. 76% of adults call the future of the nation a significant source of stress, a number that has held steady since before the 2024 election, when it stood at 77%. So we're down a point. The persistence of this anxiety, regardless of which party controls the White House or Congress, suggests Americans are grappling with something deeper than partisan politics. When asked to choose words that best represent America today, survey respondents revealed a country wrestling with its own identity. Freedom topped the list at 41%, but corruption came in close behind at 38%. Opportunity hit 37%, while division landed at 36%. Hope and fear nearly tied at 35 and 32. Beyond abstract concerns, societal divisions hitting home in personal ways. 62% of Americans call it a significant stressor in their lives, and that stress is associated with deeper feelings of isolation. Among adults who cited division as a major source of stress, 61% reported feeling isolated from others. Compare that to just 43% among those not stressed by division. Similar gaps showed up for feeling left out, 57% versus 39%, and lacking companionship, 54% versus 54%. There's other stuff in the study. I can invite you all to skim it, but wow, not the greatest sort of readout of the country. And again, these numbers are pre-Trump, right? So it may maybe it would have gone down if Kamala would have won the election. Maybe it wouldn't have. We don't know. But it did go down 1 point. But when Biden was in office, it was 77. Right now it's at 76. So who knows? Maybe maybe he's making us 1% less stressed again. I don't know. But Marshall, let's go to you, followed by Howard. Marshall, what do you think of this? Why do 2/3 of young people want to leave the country? Why are so many people anxious and troubled? Are you troubled, Marshall? Speak to us, Marshall, with Presbyterian peace of Christ.
I keep optimistic for my own sanity. I believe there's a way to fix the system. I believe you can do it through voting, organizing, campaigning. I think young people probably don't feel like they have a place where like they can affect something. Part of that's due to the way the political system works, but part of that is, I think, due to this feeling amongst young people that things aren't working right. I don't know. People are more than welcome to leave the country, but if you leave the country at its worst, how can you ever take the country at its best? If you leave when things are bad instead of trying to fix them, unless it's for other reasons, that's giving up on the American experiment. It gives that, but I personally am not ready to get rid of that goal that we can all live together. I think I'm being a little judgy here about young people wanting to leave the country, because I think you stay and you fix it, and it's not like we're in Mussolini's Italy or Pol Pot's Cambodia. We have options, and people can avail themselves of those options. I think a feeling of isolation, I think a feeling of things not working correctly creates general angst. And that general angst, I think, affects young people growing up around computers in a way that millennials did not, has made young people, I think their minds are a little short-circuited, short attention span, but most Americans are that way.
Muddle.
I don't know. I think ultimately there is this feeling that America is not going to be well. And I think the feeling that we're not going to be well drives a lot of these people to want to leave. And as I said, I think you stay and you fix the country. You don't leave it. Now, if you want to do that because you want to live in Cambodia, fine. I don't think there are large communities of expats all around the world. But the idea of giving up on one's country or the experiment, it is something that it's not a place I can get to. I don't think you give up. Maybe I'm phrasing that incorrectly, but it feels like people are giving up.
Marshall, I'm interesting. It says that 69% of adults say they needed more emotional support this year than they received. Are you in that category? Do you think that you've needed more emotional support than you've received this year?
I have a very good support system. So I have some really good friends from college I can talk to. I have some really good friends that I do politics stuff with down here. I have parents that are always encouraging and very loving. So while I have depression, I don't. I would say I haven't gotten enough hugs, but that's that's just, I don't know. Hugs are nice. So I don't know. I'm not really in that basket of super disturbed. There's also a part of me, because of my optimism, I don't think the country will give up. I think we'll fight for it. But yeah, I'm not among that group of people who need more emotional support. I have a wonderful system.
Well, everybody, you heard it here first. What do you take from that? Marshall's doing great. Maybe we should all become Presbyterians and move to the border. Howard, followed by, Alan's running a business, so Howard, we're going to go Howard, followed by Tiger. Howard, how are you doing? How are you holding
Hey.
up? And what do you think of this planned exodus or desired exodus of the young people?
By the way, Scott, great find, and I love Drudge, so he's always a good resource. For whatever reason, I tend to forget about him, so I'm glad you brought that to awareness again. Yeah, where my mind's going on this is basically, call it the personal focus groups I've had, whether it's with my kids, their friends, my nieces and nephews all across the country, kids of friends, and I think there's, the data would support. I think a big part of it is also this. It's not only perception, but it is reality. So the perception is that the previous generations had it actually much better than the current generation, and a lot of it is economic pressure. When you think about student debt, if someone did go to college and took on debt, combined with the cost of living with rental properties, and many markets, it's actually more economic to own something than rent something. But if I can't save because I'm just loaded with debt, I kind of feel like I'm starting out in the beginning behind the eight ball, which previous generations didn't have. I mean, there was always challenges, but perhaps not as much as what we see today. And then compound that with what you're talking about, Scott, with whatever, putting any political situation aside, but with AI and corporate layoffs. And I just think a lot of it is driven by economic uncertainty and economic pressures that you could understand a younger American looking to say, hey, could, I go to Costa Rica or Portugal or somewhere where maybe I've got just a better chance to have a better quality of life. And I think it's less about politics. I mean, clearly the Critical Thinking Forum is very much politically focused, but the average rank and file American, they're not paying attention to the politics. A lot of them aren't. I think it's just the day-to-day survival of what it's like to live in modern America with all the economic pressures on this. So that's where my mind's going on this one, Scott. I think it's a great timely topic, and look forward to other people's thoughts and perspectives too. So appreciate it.
Howard, I want to. You said something about young people feeling like they